Well, I'm like usually if Merlot is good, but if whatever,
So this,
I'm also easy. I like.
this is my dog. Whoa. See? Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to lock the car.
Yep, I'm hanging on as tight as I can right now.
Yes. It's very dangerous. Wait, what do you got there with the light? No, but nobody's falling. Tara's number? No, I have Tara's number. That was your dad. That's your dad's friend, right? So she will watch. Yeah.
17.
Tara's 17. Are you sure?
Yeah, see, 17.
I think that.
17.
Are you sure she wasn't older than that?
And a 0.
70.
7.
7 and a 0?
Yeah.
No way.
7.
17 or 70?
17.
Yeah. But she hasn't been around to watch you anymore. Yeah, that's sad.
Can you stop for a minute?
The car? No. Why? Oh, it's Gigi's workplace. She works there? Oh, that's cool.
Does your friend work at a car shop?
I have lots of friends who work at car shops. Yeah.
And Gigi?
Are we? Well, I haven't met Gigi, so I'm gonna meet her. I'll meet her when I'll see the trailer. Yeah.
Done swiping it. Then he presses one button like this one. And then when he's done doing that, I don't know what else to do.
Oh, okay.
I could sell my $220 million, and all you get fair market value on a book of business is 2.5 times income. That's it. So at my age, I'm 38, I couldn't sell, I'd run out of money in 4 years, right? But because here, we have an agency of people that we've built who run the assets under management and the clients. When we sell the agency. So for Leo and I, we would sell 450 licensed reps that are managed by 20 service the thousands of clients, bring in new business, and the 220 million. And so because you're selling an agency, the business is worth 8 to 12 times annual income. And it's valuated based on if you weren't present, what would it make? So in our case, we do very little personal sales anymore. Only if it's a referral or somebody that needs us, right? And so our business is worth almost our entire income. It's pretty crazy, isn't it? Or remember to buy a McDonald's and to go into debt. You know how much McDonald's profits on average? About 150K a year. And people would say, good on you borrowing $500,000 to open a franchise that makes 150K a year. But your IBA fee's $100 and you could be worth $3 million in 3 years? I don't know about that, right? So understand that because the payoff can be so big, you'll have to pay a price up front. If you didn't have to go through adversity and rejection and all the stuff that other people are not willing to do, there wouldn't be such a big payoff. And so when you're going through the difficult stuff, getting used to the business and getting good at it, you have to celebrate the toughness because that's what creates the opportunity. As opposed to trying to steer away and that was too hard or whatever people say. I don't even know how they complain. There are people in the world who really work hard. We've all seen the videos, people carrying water on their heads, people working construction in the Philippines and the heat. Gosh, Mark's people building his house are barefoot and sweating to death. And you're going to say, our business is hard? That's crazy. You mean our business requires discipline? Yeah, nobody likes discipline, right? Discipline is tough. But I want you guys to also consider on the business side. You could click for me, please.
Basically, we go into banking, reconciling, and we don't use the U.S. account. We're going to use the checking account because it seems to be your account. We're going to put the date in.
Today's date?
Yeah.
5, 25, 23.
Okay. So these are all the things that go within, right? And it has to be at 0. This number is not going to change. It is a number that was, I consider to be a balance. So all I do is check all these and it's still a balance. That means all these things that you bought came out of your account. This is your account. This means that you paid it personally. I considered them cash payments.
Okay.
So once I reconcile, it's back to the way it should be. And it just means it's entered and we don't need to worry about it anymore. And it was taken out of your account and not this account. Now everything else that we enter is from your business account, okay? But that's it for today.
Okay, well, I get it in concept, but
Well, if you can just keep
like
practicing
I have
entry.
to, that's exactly
That's
it.
it. You need to practice entry
Yeah.
because the rest of it, a bookkeeper can handle.
Yeah, and then in the system of being organized enough to present it properly, so
Yeah.
it's like clear that.
Hello.
Kids come to the kitchen
Well, she's
table.
a
You've
Mary
just worked
Jo,
so hard at putting
right?
together,
Which is
a,
then
you know, a
Elena
beautiful
you,
meal. And
right?
the first
And
words out of one
we,
of their
we need to
mouths
actually
is,
make money at Modere,
"I don't like this food." So that's
right?
that right away. So that would be
But when I get annoyed, I can't do it anymore, guys. Right? So find me another way and give me my fucking money back faster. What does Adam get? he's like super redneck. What does he get like told? Is it between Jax Teller character, Sweet Charlie, and the character Alex? So the Uhtred, okay, what's his background? Right, like Viking thing. What's my other half after the Polish? Apparently Viking thing. Okay, we were crossing over yesterday. We were in England, right at that fucking house over into this, right? I hope this is like, when are we getting to the end that this is like manageable at least? I don't think we're getting to the end, but like where I'm not, like I need something to dramatically change for the better, okay? Because I'm suicidal here. Where'd you guys live? Montreal, yeah, in the middle of nowhere. Like he came.
Well, I didn't know where I was.
Yeah, 'cause-
I'm not from there. I had
Yeah.
no car to escape, and I mean, he had me so terrified. And in such, I was like I was like seeing a monster. It was
Yeah.
like seeing a monster.
No, he's pure
I went
evil.
into such a state of shock and depression after that. Like, because I did not know that side of him until that happened, and his true colors came out. And like, luckily, I mean, Nana sent me money so that I could make my escape. But it was just, I was absolutely terrified. I knew he would beat me up.
I know. He's
I knew he
very
would,
scary.
And I knew he would hurt me.
Yeah.
And I told them, the mother.
No, they don't care.
They didn't
They're
care.
the whole family. They're every single person that's related. Like all these fucking Polish fucks, they can go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
They're sick, twisted fucks. I don't want anything to do with. I always hated the family. I just didn't know it was this bad.
No, well now you know.
Yeah,
I know.
never.
And
I knew it was
left-
bad, but
left
when
and
you're
I
in it,
never
you
went
don't
back.
know. Yeah, it's now that I left and then coming back and then seeing, and him and Steve, the business they have tied up together, it's always about the money. First, it's always about the money.
Oh, I know it is.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
probably
like
why they wanted you to come, because
It
they
is
thought
why
they
I've known this
could
now.
pay you rent.
Squeezing me out on money in every possible way. It's really sick.
Well,
as we wrap up 2022 and jump into 2023. Consider this your call to action, okay? If you can make the decision that you are worth betting on.
Barely trying to get it enough to he just walks in the room and I get physically ill. Even worse, I'm already sick and I get physically ill just because him walking in the room. And and I'm trying to get enough energy. Thank God I have Lisa's, but that I'll have enough energy even to deal with this. I am just really wishing I could blow off my head. Okay, no, this dog is like not leaving me alone. This is way too intense. He's not giving me any fucking space. I can't do this. Like, I can't do this with you. We're breaking up. Right? I'm breaking up with wolves. This is not working. No. Right? I'm a clear vampire. Right? Is a vampire when we're full racist? But how does that work with the Italians? Because remember they said with this thing with the tan? Seems that, this time science won over the vampires because I got my period, but this time it wasn't the vampires that did it, it was the scientists, mainly because Bill's done with the Kill Bill situation. He's like, okay, I'm fucking tired of this same fucking loop, and I'm now exercising my internet power over you fuckers, right, with this whole fucking thing. He's like, he's kind of said fuck it, right, like I'm done with this, so I'm now officially making all of you pedophiles on the internet. And you guys can figure it out. Maybe you need to take a social media class to fucking up your internet skills. Is that a threat? In a fucked up day for real, right? Like I was dumped, right, by my imaginary boyfriend. So I've had an imaginary husband. I had an imaginary husband for 100%. For over, like, I don't know, I can't do the timelines, a year and a half, right, that we were in this fake, like, well, not fake marriage, my mentally ill imaginary husband, right, dumped me, right, like, I got fucking dumped, right, like, so I'm like, that sucks,
right? So it fucked up my day, right? So I was like, oh, I'm planning on all of this stuff, and I thought it was further ahead too with the YouTube stuff, and then turns out I didn't fucking do that right, because I came back to the stuff and I thought, oh, I went off ADD, am I doing it my own way, right? Didn't follow the fucking formula. So now I gotta circle around and actually get my head back into that. But right now my head's not in that. Why? Because I was dumped. I was dumped by my imaginary boyfriend husband. My imaginary boyfriend husband, and ultimately, which led to all the wives, right? So where does that leave me, right? So it's like, am I ruling anything? Like, I don't even have now I don't even have an imaginary empire, right? So the whole Lost Kingdom thing, that's garbaged out, right? So close that up. Now I gotta move on to the Elegantly Outrageous Universe. We're gonna call that the Lost Universe now, and tie that around, right? Like, I need a new imaginary situation, because how am I gonna deal with the other imaginary situation if I got fucked even in my imaginary situation, right? So now I have a new imaginary situation that I'm gonna try to fucking deal with. But this time, right, now that I did the old imaginary way, right, what am I gonna do this time? I'm gonna fucking imagine myself not doing that, right? Because I'm not gonna fucking put myself back to the imaginary situation, right, that ends up leaving me dumped and alone, right? So now I'm fucking extra crazy, right? So we thought that would take me less crazy. Oh, it'll fucking make her more even and she'll be less crazy. Yeah, right, that just made me more crazy. Now I recognize that I fucking had an imaginary fucking situation, and now I have to imagine myself out of that imaginary situation. That just made me more fucking crazy. Well, fuck, what a fucking mess of a situation this is, right, to say the least. Turns out Donald wasn't so fucking far off, right, with the China virus. Seems that I fucking caught it. What ended up happening, though, ultimately, when you catch it, was you have severe delusions that take you completely psycho, right? Like absolutely the furthest end of psycho you can go. I guess I went into, it's almost like an Alice in Wonderland kind of situation where you get sucked into this rabbit hole. And really, then you come to the trees, like the Nightmare Before Christmas, and then you pick which door you want to go down. So it's kind of fucked. So I went down all the doors. I had to go through all that shit. It's almost like being in a dream or a coma, but the paranoid delusions are a lot. Like, when it fucking takes you. Like, it fucking takes you. And it did. Fucking took me down this weird path of thinking I was Mary and then Jesus. Ultimately getting married to Jim Carrey, him being Jesus, me being Mary then. And then really, like, in our marriage, it was stressful, but it was good. And then he died, right? Jim died. And I was at his funeral. He committed suicide because he couldn't be himself. Ultimately made me feel like failure as a wife, I guess. Right? Because if he would have just been honest about who he was, I would have accepted him for all he is, and at least we could have had some sort of a relationship of some kind. And I could have watched him grow into whoever he needs to be. That would be a better reality, I would think. But that's all delusions anyways, because I had the China virus, right? So turns out when I woke up from the coma, right? Woke up from the fucking coma and then realized none of this, that it was all a bunch of bullshit anyways, right? Fucking Hollywood fuckers trying to fuck with me. Now I got a new one trying to fuck with me. This fucking Superman trying to seem like he is fucking perfect, right? Mr. Perfect. Turns out though he's got some weird demons. I think he's a witch. They say that men can't be witches. I think that's a fucking lie, right? I think that's a lie too. So ultimately this has just been a one big dream, right, for everybody, and a mind fuck. So it's a question of, did you catch China virus or not? And did it make you go mentally ill? And I mean, to the furthest ends of, like, if you weren't, all the things, especially the dragon and a psycho killer, then definitely you probably didn't catch it. And you probably just got some other basic thing like the coronavirus or whatever, which apparently is real. But yeah, apparently there's vaccination. I can fix that, so don't stress out too much. China virus, though, no vaccination. You got to kind of work through it. Superman might not be as bad of a guy as I thought if he's understanding, you know, the mental illness and then taking me back after all the cheating. I guess maybe he's not so bad. He was like, oh, maybe I was wrong too. My visions there in the last, that's 4:17 p.m. Canada time. I don't know. Canada. What are we? I don't know. What am I? Central, Eastern. I don't know. Ontario. 2021. The Last Supper. But back being there, and I remember it. I guess that's a little bit of a better memory than the nail to the cross thing. It's not like super clear, like I can't remember the whole night or anything, but I can remember the feeling. I can remember as Mary looking at Jesus. I remember the feeling, and I see people there. So I guess I'm trying to trying to remember them as them, which is hard because I have to get a set that's where it branches off. It gets a little bit difficult. But I'm recognizing with the ghosts and the spirits and all the things that are coming through, who is fitting into what places, as far as like their spirits, which has helped tremendously get them out of me, but who they represent at the table. Because I'm figuring, okay, these are the people I know are at a table. I can see, like I called it a business meeting and sitting at a table. Remember, I called it a business meeting at this side. That means who's able to have the technology, the ability, the network, the brain to connect to the other people that are coming into the table. That's where I said it's different. So business has to be about respect, has to be about trust, which connects to that. But that doesn't mean, like said, on so many different levels, right? Like, you know, in this process of, like, obviously to me, Jim's Jesus, which in this world, that's I said, we haven't had any conversations, any contact. But in, you know, in different sense, that's where it goes, because, like, representing the Black Lives Matter, and then that moves over, and Michael Jordan took that role, and as a brother. But that doesn't mean when I drew it out on the table, because his abilities and his beliefs as a god and what he can do, but I don't think Michael couldn't sit and use a computer, so I'm just not really giving him credit on that, but you know what I mean. So that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure out, okay, so who's the lines of how that is. That's it, which is that's where I said nobody's actually excluded. It's not like that. And it might change, and I may be wrong, right, too, in those things too. That's why I'm not sure. Like, it's changed a lot from the time I started writing in my books, and people moved over. Oh, like, this person, like I said, seemed like an uncle, maybe at that time, based on how I knew them, and then I got to know them more, and that role changed, and that dynamic changed, and it has to, right? Just like when Jim first came to me, looking like Bruce Almighty, right? So in his life and his line, when he took on that role, he changed, and we could, in his real life, and then he had to die, and he had to have the reverse, and all that stuff had to come back to bring him back, and then he had to come back to life, and then I had to go through that process, and we're about the same age, right? Like, roughly, which is around the age of Jesus and Mary at that time. So that makes sense. But I had to be sure myself before I just say whatever. Plus, it's like really overwhelming to know. Like, I'm sweating again. I have BO, which I never have, which is like weird. But it's also hot outside. That's not how I am. Freezing from stuff, but I'm also sweating. That goes back to the symptoms I was having before. But I had to clear out medication. I'm off no medication. I'm completely sober. I've never had a problem with alcohol. I've never used a drug. Even cannabis right now, like, I've totally minimized. I realize, and I'm not on it right now, and I can still have those visions clearly. So I guess I can't be too wrong. But I'm not gonna go around telling people that. It didn't work that way, and then I would look like a psycho. It's either people know or they don't know. And then when they don't know, I'll just play a different character in a different role. But I can only imagine it'll get stronger, not weaker, because there's the business component and the goals to help people and create more opportunities and save people's lives. That's what business is to me. But I don't want, like I said, I picture that a small thing because I'm led by different, I want that so I can have my freedom and I can prove, and everything, but the rest, I want to enjoy the rest of my life. And to be honest, all these spirits want to return to where they want to travel the world. They want to go see their stuff. They want to touch their stuff and see and experience it, because I only imagine that'll make the memories stronger, which will make the connection even deeper. And that's, I guess, what they're working out, is who they want to see and who they don't want to see. And a couple of them have made it very clear to me who they never want to see again, and those people will be cast out. And I understand that will be through all of us and each other, but I have to play a big role in that. When they told me to go to Mexico, I went. I wanted to go to the pyramids, but they said no. Instead, they sent a hurricane. Thanks a lot, assholes. They weren't ready. Mary was haunted by 7 demons. 7. So sometimes it is the demon talking. But we all have 7 demons. So it's said everybody's play. If you've played Mary or played Jesus, Mary too is gender fluid, not just Jesus. And that's why Jesus is all races. So is Mary. I guess I have to be more forgiving to myself when I'm exhausted. Of course, it's Monday, so all representing the period thing and how that changed and the flow of the earth and I'm sure the science experiments. Monday and the resurrection. I feel exhausted. I have to let myself say it's okay. Da Vinci says thank you. He was the one pissed off at the artist, for the record. I think we figured that out. He didn't like what art became. The egotistical side of it, anyways. The arrogant pricks dealt with one of those. The irony of my bully in this world being a fine artist. Art is love. It's what it's meant to be. Even when it's dark. Because it's an expression of self. And that's healthy. As soon as you judge it, criticize it, think you're better, get your nose up, you're not an artist anymore. You're just a douchebag.